Hey, this is just a simple, quick video with regards to commercial, how we got here, and the understanding components of what took place and understanding these incentives. So this all began August 16, 2022. This is when Congress passed legislation. Because prior to this, the solar industry was just the wild, wild west. So August 16, 2022, Congress passed legislation. That legislation to you and I is known as the Inflation Reduction Act. That bill the purpose of that bill funded the 2007 Energy Act. Okay, so it funded a 20-year-old bill. And what happened is two significant things happened from that. Number one, that bill put in $500 billion into escrow. And I say that because I'm sure you're familiar with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. Well, the third lender got created. That third lender is called PACE. PACE is simply an acronym for Property Assessed Clean Energy. And within PACE, this is how that money gets distributed. Okay? Now, the flip side of that is in order for Congress in the United States to create and improve and redevelop the American grid, to electrify the American grid, they couldn't pass the mandates on you and I as people because we just wouldn't follow it. So what ended up happening is the green mandates didn't go to you and I, they went to the energy sector. And so, for example, for ComEd is under two green federal mandates. The first went into effect January 1, 2025, whereby they must be delivering, not producing, but delivering 30% of their energy as green solar energy. And at that time, we're probably about 12%, so nowhere near. The second one, which is the most impactful one that you need to understand, is the second mandate, which goes into effect on 2035, which takes that the 30%, which is the floor, up to 70%. So as I just tell everybody, whatever the bill that you pay, whether it's your building, whether it's your home, that bill is going to double and triple very quickly because it has to, because of these mandates. And so I want you to understand how this impacted you personally, besides the business, because we all received this. So this bill, the old, was a bill that we've received for 20 years. This is what it looked like. And somewhere last year, probably in May, April, between April and June, you noticed that you got a brand new bill, a new look, a new logo. And interesting enough, every single person, every single building owner got a brand new account number. And there's a new account number because on the second page of that bill, this is how the bill is defined. We pay for supply, delivery, and fees. Well, if you actually look at that bill, these are the fees that we now pay. We now pay an environmental cost recovery adjustment fee. That's number one. We pay a renewable portfolio standard fee. That's two. We pay a zero emission standard fee. That's three. We pay a carbon-free energy resource adjustment fee. That's four. We pay an energy efficiency programs fee. That's five. And we pay an energy transition assistance fee. That's six. So these are six new green energy fees that are on our bill. Okay, and that's one of the how ComEd's not the bad guy, but that's how the bill is going to go up dramatically. By the way, I believe June 1st, 2025 is a most significant increase happening. The next thing that took place as a builder is the building code change in 2024. On residential, the minimum service increased from a 200 up to a 400. Not every municipality has adopted it, but that's going to be taking place. The largest one that took place is going to be on the commercial aspect. So on April 1st, the state of Illinois passed 765 ILCS that state on any multifamily and commercial permit issued 90 days after that effective date will require two things. The first one is the parking. The entire parking lot has to be 100% has to be EV capable and 5% has to be EV ready. EV ready just means that there's pedestals here. So as you are out and about with the family during the week, you are going to start noticing more and more of these stations going up. And the reason is because now it's being mandated into law with regards to that. The next thing I want you to understand is really the small scale and the large scale, the micro, macro, everything. If you look at the top of Home Depot and Target, you'll see solar up there. And so whether it's the Walmarts, whether it's the Home Depot, whether it's the Target, whether it's the Chase Banks, or the neighborhoods. This is all the small scale. So this is all the micro. The macro, take the city of Chicago, for example. The city of Chicago can never go solar because it's a vertical silo. There's not enough roof surface and room to do so. So there's two different things that are taking place with regards to it. Excuse me. The biggest one is because of really the macro. So between 2000 and 2020, our need for energy increased 90%. And the reason why is because our current grid, the current infrastructure is over 100 years old. And so with the advent of AI, with these buildings that you see going up everywhere along by O'Hare, these are server buildings. And if you notice, you'll see a substation next to it. You'll see all the RTUs. And so everything in the world now is going to the cloud. And this takes an incredible amount of energy besides AI, besides crypto. And so as we move into the future, which they knew this back in 2007, they needed a way to create and regentrify the grid. So it's either spending like $1 trillion, which I just made up, or creating what they did with the $500 billion and distributing that to you and I in order to do so. Next thing is the technology has been here for over 50 years because every satellite is powered by solar technology. I did not know that. So everything that, if I put this pen up in outer space, we could do so. It costs about $10 million to do so. But the reason I bring this to everyone's attention is because when a satellite goes up in outer space, it stays there. There's no maintenance. There's no one cleaning anything. There's no extension. There's no nothing. And everything we do from Amazon to Netflix to social to GPS, that's all done through that type of technology. One of the last things I want to kind of just let you know is this happened once before. This happened in 1956 when the government actually named the bill, and that was called the Federal Highway Act. And so before we had highways, in order to get from Chicago to California, that's Route 66, right? So what they did is they created the Federal Highway Act. The same infrastructure was created. So the funding and everything was put forth. That way, the entire infrastructure of the highway system, the first superhighway system, from the jobs to the concrete to the bridges to the infrastructure, including the gas stations that had to be placed every 100 miles along the first superhighway, otherwise that wouldn't work. All of that got created. And we obviously are the beneficiaries of that today. So understanding incentives, I'm going to go high level real quick, and I use the Beverly Hillbillies because if you remember that TV show, right, it was about that black gold in Texas tea where they found oil on their lot. And so what we're doing is we're taking what you and I know is just simply refining a barrel of oil, right? Kerosene back in 125 years ago. Crude oil went into kerosene, and now we were able to refine that barrel of oil 90% into kerosene, gasoline, jet fuel, diesel fuel, petrol, feedstock. And you have a very similar thing that takes place with commercial rooftop solar. You're reducing the energy bill. You're now unlocking federal energy credits, solar renewable credits, utility credits, MACRS, accelerated depreciations. Construction, you're able to roll that into it as well. And so that's the big thing. And I'm going to show you a live example. So this is a client of ours whereby it's a roof solar combo. And all we're doing, what I want you to understand is you're taking a liability that is your roof and it now becomes an asset. You're taking a variable monthly expense, which is your electric bill, and you're fixing it because you're becoming the energy provider. And you're using state, federal, and utility money to do so. That project, what you just saw, is I'm going to round up to $1.4 million. But understand some really unique things take place. Number one, the federal ITC credit can be up to 50%. On average, it's 30%. So that's nearly $12,000, whereby the IRS is saying, keep your money. The next is going to be an accelerated depreciation because it's a renewable project. And so year one, incentives is over $600,000. The direct pays, meaning the checks you receive immediately, are going to be on the smart utility rebate of over $116,000, and then the SRECs. These are carbon credits. They're now called SRECs, but they're carbon credits, and that pays out over $629,000 over a 7-year period. So the direct pays are over $746,000. And then you actually get your MACRS, which is your accelerated depreciation, which is now through 5 years, not even 6. And so the incentive cost is equal to the project cost. The money is also available to you because of the incentive of what I just explained of why this is being done. And so there's a huge opportunity. That did not even get into the energy savings. Our client pays about $8,000 a month for energy. That's $108,000, $110,000 a year. Whereby that is no longer being spent because they are now producing their own energy. We take our clients through a year by year so you can see what it is. The break even, if you're using your own money, should you want to, is in year 2. And so you're seeing your energy savings in year 1, your federal credit in year 1, your state and federal depreciation, your utility rebate, your SRECs, those carbon credits, and those get paid out over a 7-year period. And you see how this ends up taking place on that. That's what's miraculous with regards to the opportunity that's in front of us because of this. Your environmental impact, right? We calculated of gallons of gasoline consumed, your light bulb switched to LEDs, your barrel of oils consumed. This is your ESG, your environmental impact. And that's really what's taking place. It has nothing to do with solar, but it has to do with the bigger picture on that. If you want, there's a second video, likely, which I will unpack those incentives so you understand better of what's going on in that. If not, just get a hold of us so we can actually work with you and communicate with you and going, is this actually a good fit for you? Would your building even qualify for that? So hopefully that helps, and we'll talk to you on the other side. Thanks.